Well, I think they were trying to decide who was the faster so they could get lined up a little bit better, because they were not going anywhere. Jimmy Johnson now has gotten in the lead, the group head of that group back there. They may be closing a little bit.
But they are 2 seconds behind the front four. And that's a lot to make up in 3.5 laps.
How about McMurray? I mean, there he is sitting there, Daytona 500 winner from last year, wrecked his car in practice earlier today, and here he sits. Not so sure he might not be in a pretty good spot here to win this thing.
But Darrell, what I keep seeing with Denny Hamlin in 11 and McMurray in the 1 that we're riding with, they have to keep tucking that right side out to let it breathe.
Yeah, I mean, they've been like this forever. And we were concerned that these guys couldn't run over 3 or 4 laps.
And they're pulling away. It's now 2.2 seconds back to the 5th place car.
Yeah, they're a good 1/10 to 2/10 faster than this group, but you can see how this group keeps mixing it up.
And a little while ago, we said Jeff Burton had the car that could win this race.
2 laps to go. Here are the 2 packs of lead lap cars. On the left, the leaders, Ryan Newman, Denny Hamlin, Kurt Busch, Jamie McMurray. And on the right of your screen, Jimmy Johnson, Greg Biffle, Jeff Gordon, Kevin Harvick, Burton, and Boyer.
What this second group has got to do is they've got to stay hooked up. So if this front group starts to race each other going down the back straightaway, they will maybe be able to catch them before they get to the start-finish line.
Denny Hamlin has been stuck like glue to the back bumper of Ryan Newman.
Well, he's starting to look like he either needs some air or he's getting a little antsy.
Darrell, it's a lap and a half to go. How antsy would you be?
I'd be jerking. I'd be all over the place, just like he is. I'd be juking.
Tell you what, though,
flag right here.
Coming to the white flag.
No pressure out the back.
Remember, it will happen if they're going to make the move on the back straightaway.
Hamlin locked on to Newman. Kurt Busch with Jamie Mack through turn 1 for the final time.
Here we go.
He's in your tire tracks. When you go, he's pushing.
Now it's go time.
There we go. They're looking. They're looking. Can't make it. Can't make it happen.
Newman, the runner-up in 2005.
Can't make it happen.
Has about 2,000 feet to the finish line to win the Bud Shootout for the first time. Hamlin low, Busch up high. Here they come, 3 wide to the stripe, and the winner is
3 wide.
probably Kurt Busch, because Denny Hamlin went below the yellow line.
Yeah, that was definitely, he advanced his position by being out of bounds. There's no question on that one.
It is legal for Newman to run him down to the line, and Hamlin probably had one of 2 choices: go below the line or wreck Ryan Newman. Who will go to victory lane? That is the question NASCAR officials will decide for us. From the Goodyear blimp, let's have a look at the run to the checkered flag.
I mean, he is all the way below the line. The question is, would they deem that coming to the checkered flag and game on? And I've always thought on the last lap, when you can see the checkered flag, you do what you got to do.
The line is still a line, but Darrell, does Hamlin get the lead before he goes below the yellow line? If so, he may be the race winner.
Yeah, it's hard to say about that.
And McMurray, he never came off the rear bumper of Kurt Busch in that 22 car.
Kurt Busch has won the Budweiser Shootout.
That would have been my call, but I'm you know, you never know.
First shootout win in his 8th start. We said earlier he's never won Daytona. Now he has.
He has never won a restrictor plate race of any kind.
Pretty good way to start a new relationship with a new car number, new paint job, and a winning attitude. And he's going to need
Just leave me a little bit of quarter panel on that thing. I got to bring it back down here.
He might need a couple new tires.
Kurt Busch has become the 19th different driver to win the Budweiser Shootout. The Shell Pennzoil colors get to go to victory lane for the 2nd, or is it 3rd year in a row?
3rd year in a row.
They went with Kevin Harvick the last 2 years, and Kurt Busch from Las Vegas, Nevada. A Pass Sprint Cup champion. Still driving for Roger Penske, but out of the blue deuce and into the yellow 22. Has won the Budweiser Shootout in a finish they will talk about for a while. Jamie McMurray is second. Ryan Newman is third. Fourth unofficially Jimmy Johnson, and fifth is Greg Biffle.
And what will happen with Denny Hamlin, I'm sure he will be placed the last car on the lead lap.
Let's have another look at it. Watch Hamlin's move on Newman.
Yeah, I think Newman just really thought he had it won, and he really didn't protect that bottom good enough. And it cost him dearly. I believe if he'd have stayed down on that yellow line coming off of 4, Hamlin would have pushed him to the victory, but he left enough room down there that Hamlin was able to get his nose under him.
For the first time in the 33-year history of the Budweiser Shootout, a Dodge will drive into victory lane. A lot of two-car tango, a little bit of controversy right at the finish. Yeah, we're back. It's Daytona. Promotional consideration provided by Kurt Busch is the surprise winner of the Budweiser Shootout, driving Roger Penske's Shell Pennzoil Dodge into victory lane. His first restrictor plate win of any kind, Daytona or Talladega, and Matt Yoakum's there to greet him.
New paint scheme, new number, and new real estate.
Thank you, my friend.
For Kurt Busch, victory lane at Daytona. What does this mean?
Oh, this is unbelievable. I mean, to experience victory lane here, no matter what the race is, it's very special. And I just got to thank my motor department, Jamie McMurray. I mean, those guys, they stuck with us. He had an unbelievable amount of power to push us and kept us in the mix. And when you have a friend like that in this two-car draft, that's what it takes. It's an unbelievable experience to try to manage the cars in front, the car behind, and this whole new game of Daytona. So I just got to thank Shell and Pennzoil for believing in us, coming over to Penske, believing in me. I mean, it's a great way to start off with an awesome relationship, and to have this Dodge pull into victory lane. We know we're outnumbered by the competition, but to have my teammate in McMurray today, I think that's what it's going to be. I'm going to call it teammate of the day, and McMurray was my man.
All right, he started the night out as a Lone Ranger. He found a wingman and then found victory lane. Steve?
Matt, with Denny Hamlin. Denny, tell us about the end of the race and the decisions you had to make.
Yeah, you got to. I mean, you know, that yellow line's there to protect us and the fans and stand safety, and you know, I just chose to, you know, take the safer route. You know, a win in a shootout's not worth you know, sending the 39 through the grandstands. And for me, this fast is what we're running. If I get into his left rear, that car will go airborne. So for me, it's just it was a tough position. I probably should have went high just to avoid that whole thing. But just, you know, I was faced with a decision, and obviously I didn't want to have contact with the 39.
Thank you, Denny.
Denny, are the two-car tandems an acceptable way?
Here's a look at it as they came to the line. Hamlin has position on the 39 of Ryan Newman, but not enough racetrack to complete the pass inbounds, and ends up at the tail end of the lead lap. So, Darrell, did Ryan Newman hold the lead too long? Are we back to where the leader's a sitting duck on the last lap at Daytona?
I think it's the same thing that happened to Jamie McMurray at Talladega last year. He was convinced they were going to go around him on the outside. I think he moved up just that little bit to try to make them go high, go around him. When he did, the 11 chose to go underneath him. Looked to me like the 11 could have forced him up. They were side by side and avoided going below that yellow line, but he chose not to. But I got to tell you, this was exciting.
Yes.
It was intriguing. It was interesting. I can't wait for 500 miles of this stuff.
Almost 3 times the amount, but pretty impressed that even though one's a Dodge and one's a Chevrolet, that they had a plan. Roughly 5 laps to go, and they stuck to it. Kurt Busch in that one car. And as you said, Mike, Kurt gets his first win at a restrictor plate racetrack.
Yeah, great win for Kurt, and the only Dodge in this field. There'll be 4 of them entered in the Daytona 500, qualifying tomorrow in the Great American Race. A week from tomorrow right here on Fox. And Chris, well, we've got the first checkered flag of the season, and we're off and running, and can't wait for next Sunday.
Yeah, smitten with speed and
yes.
a lot of wrecks. And you know, they talked about Jamie McMurray, last year's Daytona 500 winner, led just 2 laps. That was the fewest of any winner. Kurt Busch only led 3 laps tonight, and he's a guy who's finished in the Daytona 500 second 3 times in his career. What did we see tonight, Jeff? with a longer race, obviously, strategy-wise, that we'll see play out a week from Sunday.
These guys better be going to the gym between now and next week, because they're going to have to get their workout done, because this is going to be a tough 500-mile race. You saw how hard they had to work all night long to keep their cars up toward the front. And this is what we're going to be seeing, I think, all during this 500 miles. You can't rest at all. These drivers are going to be put to the maximum test. The speeds that we're seeing, having to think, having to try to think. I mean, every move that they're making around these racetracks today, you can't ride. I mean, it's going to be wild.
And the irony, Kurt Busch in 2008, Ryan Newman was his teammate. Right. He pushed Newman across for a Daytona 500 win, and the guy who pushed tonight, and you heard Kurt talk about it, was Jamie McMurray, not teammates, and he is standing by with our Dick Bergman.
Well, Jamie McMurray, first in last year's Daytona 500, second tonight. How different is this track from last year?
Well, the racing's a lot different. It's I hope it was exciting to watch, because it's so much different than what we've had before. But I had a really good time tonight. I was happy for Johnny Morris is here from Bass Pro Shops, and obviously McDonald's and Liftmaster first race with us. So that was a great way to perform for them. I wish I could have pushed a Chevrolet to the front. Kurt and I are really good friends, though, away from the racetrack. We live just a block or so from each other. And once Juan got wrecked, you know, I came on the radio and I told Lauren, my spotter, I was like, listen, I said, Matt Kenseth or Kurt Busch will be the next two most loyal guys out here to me. So it just worked out that I got behind Kurt, and I don't think he had a very fast car, but we put ourselves in the right position right there at the end to win it for him. So I'm really happy for him.
Congratulations, job well done.
Thank you.
Well, we heard the phrase, we knew that would happen. So is there anything you could have or would have done differently in that closing lap?
Well, I knew I was a sitting duck, and I wish it would have been just a two-car battle instead of a four-car battle, but that's selfish of me. So I want to thank Wicks, first of all, for the opportunity and coming here to sponsor us for this race, and everybody from Chevrolet and everybody else. But I didn't know what to expect, other than the fact that I knew it was going to happen off of 4, and I didn't know if he was going to go high or low, and I didn't know which way, if I was going the right way, pointed in the right direction, the 22 and the 1 were going to go. So it's a unique race, and I'm glad we got back to the finish line in the way we did. That's probably the least scratched car we've ever had at a super speedway in my history at Stewart House Racing.
So he's taking a positive out of this tonight.
Thanks, Krista, the former winner of the Great American Race. And here's one who wants to be a week from Sunday. Remember, it was Kurt Busch who last March in Bristol, when he lost out to Jimmy Johnson, those 5 straight championships, who said, I'd rather lose to any other team out there than to the 48. So maybe Kurt Busch has the spunk that it takes to take on Jimmy Johnson once we start rolling a week from Sunday here. NASCAR on Fox. Coming up next on Fox, late local news, and then Fringe after that. Tomorrow, don't forget, our front row will be set. The pole tonight, by the way, Dale Earnhardt Jr. last year, he finished second in the Daytona 500. And then a week from tomorrow, the start time, noon Eastern, the pre-race program delivered by Pizza Hut. A lot of fun for you there as we get you ready for the Daytona 500, the running of the Great American Race. And tonight, it was exciting with a record number of lead changes, 28 total. And Dale Earnhardt Jr. got wrecked out early, said it may look crazy, but it was fun out there, and called it a new style of racing, that's for sure.
He definitely is, but he did say he had fun. That's what's more important than anything else.
Jeff Burton led the most laps at 32, but in the end, it was Kurt Busch winning the 33rd running of the Budweiser Shootout. For Darrell, Larry, and Mike, Steve, Krista, Matt, Dick, Jeff Hammond, I'm Chris Myers. This was a Barry Landis production, directed by Artie Kempner. We hope you joined us Sunday here from Daytona, and a week from Sunday for the Great American Race.